Hi guys, this is Sidney. So I'm on here today to share with you some messages that came for March in Pisces season, and the messages that I have been receiving based on the energies that I have been tapping into regarding ascension, healing journey, releasing karma, and any empowerment journey that we're all on at this time as a collective. So I've been collecting, dissecting, processing a lot of information, messages that I've been receiving from my spirit team, Source, and Gaia. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my intuition guide me through this recording. So anything that comes up naturally through my intuition at this time will be the message that is for the public, for the collective in divine timing, under divine guidance. So for you, take however it resonates for you and discern for yourself as always. Always tune into your intuition. And your intuition is the inner guiding light that's going to help you tune in and allow yourself to listen to the truth that is resonating with your soul. So if you find yourself not resonating, it's likely the ego coming out and being triggered and reactive. And that is also part of the process. So however it comes, allow yourself to observe and detach, and because everything serves you for your highest good, whether it's trigger, whether it's resonance. So I want you to use all of these energies that are coming up instead of breaking it down as something positive or something negative, okay? Anything, everything is helping you and serving you at this time, okay? So the energy still right now is very much rising in frequency, and this energy has been rising up continuously from the beginning of March, and March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and we had the 3-3 portal on the 3rd of March. And that energy was very, very intense and high rising. And you may have experienced a lot of physical ascension symptoms once again that is very much apparent to you. It's not subtle, but it's very strong, like we experienced last year, at the end of last year. A lot of spiritual awakening and rebirth and death and rebirth, intense rising up of frequency that happened later last year, like November, December, around that time, October. So it's very similar to that level of intensity that I'm feeling, that I have been feeling. And still I'm hearing the sound, the bee constantly, and this has been very loud on March 2nd, March 3rd, March 4th. Prior to March 3rd, I reconnected with the energy of Yeshua, or Jesus, as we know. And this message of Sirius has been coming up, the Sirius, the Syrian energy, since the end of February. And when it came, I didn't know what that was, so I sat with it. And then yesterday, I received the information about the Sirius Mystery School. So you may not know about the Mystery School or the Sirius, and that is okay. It's just you want to tune in with your heart always, and if it resonates, meaning you're drawn to it somehow without any judgment, you are further intrigued, not by the ego of wanting to satisfy your need to know more, but somehow you know that intuitively you're drawn to this information and feeling comfortable listening to more than it may be for you at this time, that What I received was I was a classmate with Buddha and Jesus, because my energy is very much, my soul experience is very much connected to them, and they have been part of my spirit team ever since I was a little kid, when I was deep in the sleep, taking on a lot of the generational karma, and I received this information right after I woke up. Not right after, I would say, but like about a year later or so. Somehow one day, this idea of, okay, serious mystery school. I went to school with Jesus and Buddha, but I didn't pay too much attention to that passing information, because at the time I was still doing a lot of I would say healing work, and a lot of dealings with my shadow aspect. And because of that, I had this perspective that this idea in this world right now, we see Buddha, or we see the idea of Jesus as somewhat a lot bigger than who we are. But just like that, we're all a universe. We're all a part of the source. That means we're all an aspect of the source that is the universe, that you are a unique star, unique universe. But it's hard to believe and accept this as we are. It's because of this concept that we've been programmed with in this conditional world. What is better and what is bigger and what is more significant, what is more advanced than me, all these ideas like better or worse, the duality consciousness, right? So I was like, perhaps on a subconscious level, not believing or in denial, right? And in escaping that information in that moment. But that was on purpose, because that came as a reference. Yesterday that came really, really loudly. And so I was guided to share this information, and also provide starseed activation for mystery school. I don't know how to say this, but what would be the best human language for this is like classmates. That if you've been in mystery school in serious, even though you don't know what you did, you also have that skills and talents and abilities that you learned and mastered. So I was guided by the source and Gaia to help these souls activate within their subconscious, within their soul aspect, so that they can move towards their North Star, meaning the North Node, their life purpose or soul mission, however you resonate with these terms at this time, what you came here to do in this lifetime, what you crave in your soul. So you may be working in the corporate or in a company, but on a soul level, you constantly have this unknown desire to help people, or wanting to contribute for the greater good or the humanity. That may be the part of your soul mission. So something like that. So something that I'm also guided to share is that if you are in the spiritual awakening journey and you don't know all these terms and you don't know all this information or messages, or you're not channeling, or you're not doing this or that, it's easy for us to compare that I don't have that ability like that person that I like to listen to, or that I resonate. I wish I had that ability, or I wish I was like them. Or you think and believe in comparison that you're smaller than them, or you don't have these abilities or talents. Because I went through that stage of the ego comparison. It's easy for us to go into that stage, and it's part of the journey. So you must experience that part of the experience of comparing through the ego. That's how you face your shadow and learn to integrate further, and realize that that's an illusion, meaning we don't want to discard or make it insignificant or any of that, but just the fact that it exists. But we're not going to allow that illusion to play, I would say, tricks in our mind, basically. So we don't see the truth. So you are going to learn how to do this as you go through all these processes of triggers and comparisons. So every time you experience that, allow those experiences to teach you something rather than judge yourself or judge those people. And even though you do that, there is certain information that may help you heal in that moment. So after experiencing that, allow yourself to detach and meditate, perhaps connect with nature, ground your energy. So when you ground your energy in nature is very effective, is because it allows you to transmute all this energy of illusion or in duality consciousness or in any negativity that you hold within yourself or you take on from other people around you who are negative. So that when you are aligned, it's easier for you to tune into your intuition that allows you to listen and feel and sense and see the truth. So that is all part of the training that you can do. So everyone was once a beginner, like me too. So as you go through the steps, allow yourself to learn continuously is a message that I'm guided to share at this time. So you want to develop and realize your own unique skills and talents, and just know that everyone is on a different season and timing. And whenever you go off balance and constantly focusing on what other people are doing, and you think about how they think of you and what you are doing, right? You want to pull your energy back to yourself and give your total attention and focus to what you're learning and what you're grateful for in that moment from all these learnings and teachings. Because there's a saying, right? The people who hate you teaches you something. People who loves you teaches you something. People who didn't love you teaches you something. People who were unkind to you teach you something. So it's all to strengthen you in that sense. And all these people, when you look at it, you see that as bad or an enemy or something who did you harm. In a bigger and larger perspective, they're all just playing a role like in a movie. That, okay, like this time I'm going to play the bad guy and you're going to play the good guy, or I'm going to play the bad guy to this person, and or vice versa. So these are just different roles that we are playing to remind you that this is a costume and a role playing that we are doing right now. So go into the larger perspective whenever you are getting fixated or getting attached to one perspective, that way that everyone is helping you, teaching you in one way or another. So at the end of the day, whenever you thank them for the lessons, you transmute and transform any of these lower vibrational energies. And every time you do that, how you're moving towards your North Star, releasing your karma, letting go of the past and all of that on the ascension path, right? You are raising your vibration. And the ascension simply means you're not going to a certain space that is higher, but actually what we are doing when we are talking about ascension is you are changing your frequency. And because you are the reality, when you are changing and shifting in frequency, everything around you matches your energy, so you're in a different reality. That's how we quantum jump. So it's not that we are chasing after ascension, but it's all about coming down to your center, the temple within that we constantly talk about, aligning yourself, the inner alignment. That is a major theme of 2024 at this time. And further purifying. So with that, the message that came very strong was purifying our heart since the 3-3 portal. So Actually, the channeled movie that came from source was the, what was it? Wonka. There were a lot of remakes, but this one is by the Timothy Chalamet as the main character, and in Korea it just released. It released 1 month later than in other countries because he was visiting Korea last week actually with Zendaya to promote their movie June 2. So actually this movie, and I received the message that there is a message for me in this movie Wonka in December, but it didn't come out in Korea, and then I didn't pay much attention when it came out, and I didn't really feel like watching, so I didn't watch it. And then on the 2nd of March, I got a really clear, strong message. Okay, go watch Wonka. So I booked a ticket. I went to the theater at night and I watched the movie. And there were tons of messages that were so loud for me to share in relation to purifying the heart. And it was about, and I don't want to spoil for those of you who want to see the movie, but how they they have the silver coin, and how they, at the beginning of the movie, the Timothy Chalamet is giving 1 coin to this person who's in need, and and then they call this sovereign, 1 sovereign for you, 2 sovereigns for you, and then the moment he said that, it hit me. It's about this sovereignty, and there is an important message here. And it was very different from the previous movie. Like the last one I saw was with Johnny Depp, The Chocolate Factory. This one was more about satirical comedy. So before watching this, I've been receiving or revisiting my past, because I used to live in London when I did my graduate study. So after working at the bank, I quit my banking job, and then I went to London to do my graduate study, and I prepared myself to do anything that I wanted to study rather than pursue MBA and all of this. So I got an admission to a school for masters in contemporary art. So I lived in London for about 1.5 years, and around the time before going to London, I was really into like British comedy, and one of the shows was Little Britain, and it used to make fun of a lot of, it's very much British humor, and then make fun of people, like British people, because there's a lot of unknown discrimination between classes and how they use words to, that's polite, that's not polite, all these ideas, right? The culturing, or this limiting or conditioning that put people into putting the mask on all the time, and pretend, right, that they don't notice, or pretend this is something that's not, or they're not discriminating. So how they tell someone is from a rich class, or different class, or a poor family, is by their accent, is one thing. And there were a lot of membership, restaurants membership, nightclubs membership, I don't know, places, like a lot of membership stuff that you have to be a member, you have to pay to be a member, you have to fulfill certain requirements to be part of that club. All that was a lot of stuff like that I didn't see in America or in other countries, were present in London or in UK in general. So it's from that idea, right? And so anyways, going back to the movie. So this was that Little Britain, so in British accent it's Little Britain, that had a lot of satirical comedy as well that I used to enjoy. And something that was shocking when I was in London was that I used to watch a lot of documentaries that was on TV or BBC. And then one day I was watching something on BBC, and I was in shock because the narrator was saying that they were in Africa or something, and the narrator, literally said this uncivilized, very stupid, like this race or the culture in Africa or something like that, very imperialistic. And in that moment, I realized the BBC, the programs that put out in UK and put out internationally is very different. And so that's how program people on a subconscious level. And our environment is so important. What we listen to on a subconscious, unconscious level constantly affects us, is because also it reminded me of this one experience that I also had, that after about 3-4 months into living in London, I used to love mimicking like British accent even before, I was going to UK, like years before when I was younger and all that. And just for fun, because I really loved language. And it was so cool that one night I got on a cab, and then I had to tell my address for the driver to take me to my place. And then I wasn't thinking, just naturally, I said 40 lines to square. So it's 40 lines to square, but I did it in British accent that I didn't even plan on or intending on, just came out naturally because I was listening to the British accent all the time. So for me, it was so cool that it just came out naturally. So it was like 40 lines to square. And it was very memorable for me. So that memory came back, and how powerful our subconscious mind is, and how we absorb all these things without us realizing. So your circle of friends, the people you hang out with, the conversations that you choose to engage in, right? The people you hang out with, these all affect you so much more than you realize on a subconscious level, just like that. It comes out naturally at one point. So it's very important for us to discern and to choose. And to choose means you are the main character in your reality, because you're not just randomly allowing yourself to be exposed to certain environments and be immersed in. You're in charge, right? I choose to hang out with those people. I don't choose to hang out with those people. I choose to talk positively with myself. I stop choosing to speak negatively about myself or about other people. All these things you're choosing and selecting for yourself is also part of the discernment. As a creator is also very, very important at this time in order to further purify your heart, because you have to take charge and you have to be aware of the environments that you are surrounded by. And if you don't like the environment, or it's not preferable for your highest self, that is aligned to your highest timeline, you need to do something about it. Or if you want to change a habit, you need to create a different environment. That's where the idea of feng shui comes from. So for example, if you want to focus on studying, if there are a lot of things distracting you on your desk, that energy is taking away your attention. So it's hard for you to focus just on studying or focusing on what you're doing. So you need to clean up your desk. You need to clean up your closet. You need to clean up your house, reorganize, all of these things is all part of the energy. So in purifying our heart, and further, a lot of purification requires the cleaning up of the environment was the message. So on an individual level, you want to review what you are saying, how you are saying, your patterns, your habits, also who you allow yourself to expose to certain environments, groups of people, institutions, right? And if that's not supporting you in the best way, that is aligned with the highest good of all, that is in divine, then you want to start thinking about, how can I make the shift? How can I make changes? Because you are the creator. You can change, rearrange things for yourself. Okay, that is the message that came. And so the whole movie, one message that came out was purifying our heart to align ourselves, or that anchor down that energy. If you've been doing a lot of shadow work, to choose to do something, not to gain more for yourself, but to align yourself continuously for the highest good of all, that is connected to the divine. So how can I serve, right? How can I contribute is the idea, rather than using my gifts and talents, whether it's spiritual, whether it's not. How can I gain more? How can I make more money? And in this sense, I'm not demonizing money, or I'm not saying it's not important, but just that it kept coming. This idea of money, or the concept of money, is in also the purification process. So the idea of money that we have is very different, and it's attached to a lot of the egoic energy. And what he realized, the main character, the Timothy Chalamet played in the movie Wonka, he realized that it's not about the chocolate. It's not about making the chocolate, but it was about sharing the chocolate with the people. And he realized something in that moment at the end of the movie, and that was the big lesson for him. So with that, this idea of creative power, the magician within, that you are the reality, that you can take charge of your environment, you can remove yourself, and you can create the environment that you wish to be in, also is part of this message. And that with that, the channel song from the movie was the Pure Imagination. So I kept receiving this channel song actually since December last year, and then it didn't come, and then just around like at the end of February, early March, it kept showing up like repeatedly. And then the sound, or the melody, seemed really familiar to me, and I thought it was a remake, but then I couldn't find the original song at the time. But after watching the movie, while I was trying to listen to the music and finding on YouTube, it showed up in my feed about the Pure Imagination by Fiona Apple. So Fiona Apple is an American singer, if you don't know who she is. I used to listen to her songs. And I was like, yeah, that's why it was so familiar. He's remaking this music, and I listened to the original song. She wrote the song, so it's written actually by Fiona Apple. And then with that, her other two songs came. One is Criminal, and the other is Shadow Boxer. So I'm gonna put all the music, channel music link in the description box below for those of you who may be interested to look into listening to this music. So what happened when I listened to the Shadow Boxer and Criminal, these were like two of the famous songs by her that is pretty well known. And it took me back to the memory, and when I was singing these songs and listening to her songs like way before, I didn't know what they meant, but I was just like the rhythm, and it's very dark and intense, but somehow it's very unique. So I was very much drawn to her music, like these piano and all of that. And so what came was the shadow boxer. So a lot of the times, what we are doing is it's like the shadow boxer, the definition, when I looked up, was it's like when a boxer is training, he imagines that there's an opponent, imaginary opponent. So he's doing the moves, right? Doing the footwork, doing the, arm work. The boxer is moving and doing the image training, basically. So it's shadow boxing, it's called, that I learned. And, the shadow boxer was a representation that we are an illusion, meaning the ego is an illusion. The fear is because we constantly in our mind have this imaginary opponent, and we are fighting against it. We are preparing ourselves to fight. And why do we want to fight? Because we don't feel safe right now. The only way for me to gain or have this feeling of safety is whenever I remove this opponent. And these are imaginary, but we project when we're in that state. So it could be this person or that thing that's triggering me. I see them in that moment, even though it's an illusion, I see that as truth, that they're doing this to me. We are constantly fighting, shadow boxing in our mind. So, we experience this whenever you're around people or situations, or you go back to a certain memory. You constantly have this conversation in your mind, what you're going to say, how you're going to say, what they used to say. You assume that this is how they're going to respond and react. So you prepare yourself to say these things or do these things, right? It's because this overthinking and overactivation in the mind like that, the script that is coming up in the mind is because we don't feel safe in that moment. Because when we are around these people, when we were around or inside this environment, we didn't feel safe. And so we need to come down to, in this energy of March with the Pisces, and the 3-3, the Christ consciousness energy, the energy of Jesus or Yeshua. We need to further purify this energy of illusion. Okay, that this is just an imaginary opponent. So you may need to look into further triggering moments or past memories that are resurfacing, or people from the past resurfacing in your life. It may feel challenging because it's triggering you. It's making you feel uncomfortable because in Pisces season, this is the last zodiac sign. So we are doing the integration, and we are having to purify the idea of illusion and move into vision. So the Pisces energy is very much the Neptunian energy, the water energy. And so with that, we have the ability, the kindness, the compassion, the empathy of the Pisces inside our heart to dissolve these illusions of the ego or the fear. Okay? And then we can settle that in and align and purify our heart with the ego to create a vision that is in alignment with the highest self and highest timeline that is aligned with the divine. So you are stepping towards becoming the co-creator with the universe. Okay? And so with that, as you step towards it, you're moving towards your North Star. Okay? So with that, another message that came was it's going to really help you on a practical level at this time to look into your North Node and South Node in your natal astrological chart. And I'm referring to the Western chart, not the Vedic astrology. So you can find them easily if you know your birth dates and, time and place. And so you want to pay attention to where your North Star is, where your South Node is, and then study the challenges that you need to overcome, and the skills and qualities that you need to embody. So at this time, what I got was in year 2024, one of the big theme that also came was a lot of the souls moving into their North Star, the North Node. So we still have the Aries and North Node that began in late last year. So now in 2024, we are having to really walk towards this path and let go of any of the old energies, that the challenges or the lessons that we needed to learn. And you may want to look into it. And for example, right now when you're in Pisces season, so if you have South Node in Pisces and North Node in Virgo, this energy may be very, very useful, or I would say extra useful for you to navigate through and release the old, letting go of any of the old unhealthy toxic habits that hold you tied and attached to the past, meaning the people, places, and memories. So for example, like the Pisces South Node traits could be very self-sacrificial, like martyr syndrome, or escapism through addictions, right? And constantly thinking about how people perceive you, think of you. What else? So these are some of the things like codependency, or you constantly wanting on a subconscious level to be rescued by someone, right? And so when you want to move towards the Virgo is very practical. So you want to develop the skills of more detail-oriented, becoming more discern with your choices and taking care of your health, and being more organized and pragmatism and all of these ideas, right? So you may, on a collective level, we're all moving and working through this energy because we all have the 12 zodiac signs in us. So this time, we had at the end of February, we had the full moon in Virgo, and then we have the Pisces energy. So, and we have the full moon in Libra this month at the end of March. So we are moving. So you want to look into these areas or habits, for example. And something that you can do is when you may have different South or North Node. Like you may have Aries North Node and Libra South Node, something like that. But then you may have different major themes. So something that you can do is you may be working with these themes of Pisces Virgo on a collective level that's affecting you, but also you want to look into your specific major themes. And when these new moon and full moon cycles come in, that's in match to your North and South Node, you want to work with the energy more so. So something that you can do is in full moon, you want to release altogether. In new moon, you want to set an intention, and during this time, you want to review and reflect. Okay, and then once you release, you can set new vision for yourself and go through rebirth. So the moon cycle also became very important as channeled message that you want to use this new moon and full moon cycle every month to see these North Node, South Node strength and weaknesses and the challenges and the lessons that we are learning. That's going to further allow yourself to let go of the past, meaning release your karma, meaning liberate yourself from illusory entrapment or enslavement you believe that you are in. Okay, because these people from the past that you felt like they oppressed you, they restricted you, they suppressed you, right? It's part of the role, and they no longer have an effect on you, and It's because you are connected to the divine. So we are moving from the ego to the soul, meaning we are now having to realize this feeling of safety is not by the external environment, it's within. So when you are connected completely, meaning believe totally in faith, in full faith that you're always guided and protected, you feel safe. It's like this affirmation, right? I'm always in the exact place at the right exact time, right? That in that moment, the fear disappears, the worry disappears. You're aligned, boom. Just like that. But when you are constantly having these the conversations in your mind or the self-talk in your mind, like shadow boxing, because you don't feel safe, that when you're about to meet that person, when you go to that workplace and you're constantly entertaining is the word, because this is a habit, it's illusion. You constantly have to do this in order to feel survived. So this is just a pattern that you need to recognize because you didn't feel safe with those people or with that environment. So by recognizing that, you can switch your environment and choose who you are going to connect to. That is the divine, because divine is always guiding you, protecting your spirits, your spirit team, your angels, your higher self are with you. But this knowledge or this information has been hidden, because once we recognize that and realize who we really are, then we are no longer going to feel unsafe. And feeling unsafe makes us feel that we need to survive, so that we do all kinds of things like pleasing or seeking validation from people and taking rejections personally or all these things, because it's in tied to other people not seeing you, not hearing you. So the attention is constantly outside of ourselves. And what that does is we're constantly trying to prove ourselves. And whenever we do something, whenever we create and achieve something, is for the other people. So they see me, so they hear me, right? But actually, it's just about your authenticity, meaning who you are, and your joy, and your talents, and your unique gifts. But we are using this to gain something from other people. Their validation, their recognition, like their approval, their love. So we go into the chase mode, right? So that is where this idea is coming from, this channel message. So you want to look into these areas, and when you want to Google like these informations, something that you can do on a practical level is to align your energy, breathe in, breathe out. Perhaps you want to do quick meditation to clear up your energy. And then you want to set an intention in that pure heart space that you're asking your spirit team or the universe to provide the information that I need to know at this time, that's going to help me align with my highest self, with the highest timeline that is connected to the divine and the source that is for good of all. And when you say that with that intention, the information that you see when you are Googling is going to be sent by your spirit team, your guardian angel, however you resonate with these terms. Okay, so that's something that you can do at this time to further purify, let go, and then realign, meaning redirect your energy to your North Star. And as you do these things, you're going to get more clarity and answers on the way. And with that, what I got was the journey, the way, the road. Because this lifetime is not about getting somewhere, meaning the result, or how things appear, what I receive, what I gain. It's more about all these processes, everything, all these moments. So that's why It is requiring us to be more present in every moment to ground our energy, so we are fully committed and we don't take or be consumed by the energies of worrying or fearing or where you're putting your attention in terms of your thoughts, right? You want to be aware of these things. Where you're spending more time and most time in your head, it's because you're constantly feeling unsafe. So you want to recognize who you're fighting against, your shadow boxer, the imaginary opponent. And with the song Pure Imagination is talking about you being the creator, you being the magician of your reality with your pure imagination. That is the daydreaming part of the Pisces energies. That is very beautiful, that you have this beautiful power of imagination to visualize what you want to create, but that must be aligned with the highest good of all rather than the ego. And a lot of the times you're not creating something to be recognized and to be validated, to be accepted, but you are doing so because you have this beautiful, unique gifts and talents and you're just expressing it. And that's all you need to do. That is the authenticity. Okay? And the rest is taken care of by the universe because you're in your pure heart, right? It's like cause and effect. So when you are in that state, you're going to bring in that pure energy that is also part of your ascension, but also helping Gaia and Source at this time, or the universe at large. Okay, that's how it's all linked right now that I'm guided to share. So North Node, South Node, and do that intention setting by purifying your heart space. And then on 3-3, a lot of energy of Yeshua supporting us with purifying our heart space. And also the energy of Buddha came through with the idea of enlightenment. So Buddha means enlightened one, the awakened one. So we are at this time, every moon, new moon and full moon cycle, from what I receive, we are going through rebirth, death and rebirth cycle, meaning we are becoming the Buddha, we are becoming the awakened one, enlightened one in each moment of realization and recognition. And in that moment, we become more awake from the sleep state where we've been unconsciously, subconsciously doing things out of old habits or compulsion because we are afraid, because we don't feel safe. Okay, so one thing that you want to do is subconsciously we put on a lot of weight to feel protected. That's why we develop like food addictions and food cravings is because, or addictions to alcohol or certain things as a way to escape. Escapism is a big theme for March, meaning the Pisces season. We don't want to no longer escape. We want to look into these areas, right? Where am I feeling unsafe? And why am I trying to escape? Why am I trying to avoid this right now? Why is it making me feel afraid to speak myself, to be seen and heard, but constantly seeking others to hear me, to see me, and when they don't provide this, I get mad, I hold resentment, and that's how we attach our energies to these things and places from the past. That's constantly holding you back. It's hard for you to move forward. And with that, another thing that came was a lot of the energy or the spirit of Michael Jackson and Prince, the singers that came. Prince mainly for the idea of sovereignty. That's relation to also the industry, what's going on, and the purification of the idea of money as well that came in relation to the idea of imperialism that I briefly mentioned in my previous latest videos. That modern day imperialism is the money, the banker's occupation. So when you look at the financial structure or the history of finance, the moment we got out of the gold-backed system, what happened was the few people started to print more money, and cartel, the idea of cartel, like the big families like Roosevelt and Rockefeller families and all these families, the Rothschilds, they're the ones printing the money. So that's creating the inflation and all of this things, and everything is staged and manipulated. The market crash and everything up and down. These are all the manipulation and being staged. And most people do not realize, because we get caught up in the programming. We get caught up in, how can I make money out in this market? Or how can I make more and have more and secure more, because it's so turmoil, it's so up and down, and we don't know when it's going to crash. We don't know. And that's how we are going to be played. And so this also was in satirical comedy, in a form of satirical comedy in Wonka this movie. So I looked up to the director because I felt like this is very much like sounding like and looking like a British comedy scene, or that Little Britain comedy. And so he was actually British and he did comedy. So that's where his background came, and there's a lot of criticism and revealing the truth in a form of comedy in this movie Wonka, of how our society is being structured at this time too. And the word from the movie that came was, the greedy always beats the needy. So the needy is just the majority of the people. The greedy, the people who print the money and put cartel and prevent someone like Wonka, who has great gifts, to not make it in this world, because they see the talents, the light and the shine that has effect on everyone. And he's providing chocolate that is affordable to everyone. Now they're stopping him and they're trying to kill him, and then continue this cartel to be in a position of power. And with that, okay, this is like, it's coming in randomly because I'm just being guided by my intuition. So going back to Fiona Apple's music, another song is The Criminal. So The Criminal, you can have different interpretations, but when I researched the information that came, the intention behind her writing this song was about how, and then when I read it, the message that came was about this wounded divine feminine energy that had been suppressed and repressed and oppressed, because the feminine energy represents the creative power, the fertility. It's like the only person that can give birth to another human being is through the energy of the woman, the womb of the woman, right? And so that is a unique power, but that had been suppressed in the age of darkness, starting with the age of Leo, the hierarchical, the patriarchal society, where the women were just being shunned to work with power, sex, and attention. So a lot of the times in modern days, a lot of people use sexuality, right? Especially the feminine, using the divine feminine, right? Energy. So meaning we all embody this energy, whether you're male or female, but we use this sexuality or to gain attention for more power. And when you look into histories, like all these women or the concubines were trying to get attention from the king so they could be picked and marry the king, and so they can give birth to a son that's going to secure her power in the palace or in the position, because she had the son that could be the king, that's the heir to the king in the next generation. So she becomes the manipulator. So a lot of the wounded divine feminine is relating to the idea of codependency, wanting to manipulate, and wanting to be rescued by someone else that is to be seen as more powerful, right? That is in alignment with this Pisces energies, Pisces South Node energy. So these energy information, or the collective energy, or the collective wounding, came as something that we want to be aware of and recognize and process through, that's in all of us right now, that we are purifying at this time on a collective level, that is in tied to the idea of money, that imperialistic society that is still present, that we are continuing to purify, release, and let go of. Okay, so that's why it is important for us to review, reflect, that what you are creating is aligned with the high self, whether you are doing this for the joy in the moment of expressing who you are in an authentic way that expresses your unique talents and gifts, or are you constantly planning, formulating, strategizing to get somewhere, to get something out of this, is using your gifts and talents to gain more for yourself, is something that we need to be aware of and reflect at this time. And just by doing this, just by being drawn to this, your heart is pure, because you're not denying it, you're not saying, you're not judging it. You're like, I know that I'm in this ego state, but how can I purify? How can I get into that place? Is a question that you need to simply ask, okay? And we are continuously purifying, and everyone is on a different journey. So you simply want to focus on your healing steps at this time, and just do one step at a time, one by one, okay? Is the message that came. Okay, so what else? What else is coming? So right now, before coming to record the video, I was really pulled to use the selenite to help you purify your energy space, or any of the negativity that you may have taken on from other people, from your thoughts, by attaching yourselves to certain things and memories from the past. And also this burning bush and this crystal that I was drawn to get, these two, at the top of Mount Sinai when I went hiking up to connect with the energy there in Egypt. Okay. So I'm going to give you this purification with some light language if it comes out, with light codes transmission if they come out. So you want to take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out, release. Okay. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And with that, okay, the message that is coming is to continue to detox your body, because your body also plays a very important role right now as the rising of frequency is constantly happening. We need to embody more light. And these needs cellular support. So we need to cleanse our cells, the blood, and our environment that we're living in is very much toxic. So detoxing becomes very important. So that the idea of fasting as well. Okay, so the last message with the Michael Jackson, the moonwalk, his moonwalk came yesterday, and as I was tapping into it, the spirit had me see this interview, where it came from, and actually Michael took this dance from the streets, in the black neighborhood at the time. The black kids were dancing. This moonwalk already existed, but he took that on and he made it his own and mastered this craft of dancing. And how they described was he danced inside the music, not just to the beat, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and move. He was like inside the music, and that's how they describe. So we want to go within and be in alignment and be tuned in to this flow of this moment every step you take, and just enjoy flowing. When you look at his steps, right? Moving sideways, up and down. And also we want to, with that, see through the illusion, because what I learned was that it looks like he's going backward, the well-known moonwalk, but actually how it works is they're taking the step forward. But because of the gravity, it looks like even though he's walking forward, because of the illusion of the gravity that we have, it looks like it's moving backward. And with that, I actually tried the moonwalk with this knowledge, because I thought I was trying to move backwards when I was trying as a kid, but I learned something. Actually, as you do this step forward, because of the gravity, it's pulling us back. So that was the message that came in relation to the idea of illusion. So what we are seeing right now with these two eyes that is connected to the duality consciousness, we need to see in order to see the truth, we need to combine, integrate this, purify the ego, and come to here. That's going to take you with this vision in the Pisces season to help you step forward continuously to your north node, to your north star, okay? To go there, this has to be the main navigation, not these two. That is the ego, the mind. But here, and with the divine feminine energy, is dissolving all the logical and the reasoning senses. We need this technique and skills, but we are having to integrate and flow through these steps, because fighting is the ego, easing through is the soul. Everything needs to take space and take place. The journey, the road is effortless, smooth. And that's how we align with our energy to joy and love and gratitude and abundance, and feeling these energies is going to is how you're going to be taken to your North Star, not forcing, not trying to formulate everything, control everything, and figure everything out, setting the destination and control all the processes. It's with the unknown, the energy of Pisces moving through, was like the moonwalk, very smooth. It looks like you're moving backward, but it's because of the gravity, the illusion of gravity, but you're moving forwards. It's a stepping forward. Okay, so that came as a channel message, okay? That's the last one. So going back to the purification with the crystal, okay? Once you align your breath, if you resonate, set an intention to receive, okay? I'm going to purify your energy field, your auric field. It's being cleansed, okay? I'm going to clean and purify the space of your aura and your energy field, and also to help you bring your solar plexus energy in balance, and bring that to your heart center, and then purify your third eye, and bring that to your heart center. So the solar plexus and your third eye and the root chakra also in balance, to feel you safe, connected to the divine. So the root chakra, the solar plexus, the third eye alignment are very important and more emphasized at this time. Okay, particularly with ego purification and what we are creating with for the vision, for the future, as the creator that you are. You want to start seeing the magic, seeing the miracles that are taking place in your presence with you right this moment. When you are dissolved from the ego, you are to recognize these things that are present with you. Until then, you're going to seek to find, chase after miracles, chase after magic. That's an illusion. Okay, we are releasing this and purifying this energy right now. Uakaiyakaka, uakaikakaiyaka, uakakaiyakaka, uawaiyakaiyakaka, uawa. Hiakao kukuaiyakakao, third eye purification. Kiakao kukuaiyakakaiyakaka, throat. Uakaikikiyakaka, uakakao, uakikiyaka, heart space. Kiakao, uakakao, uakaiyakaka, uawawa. The solar plexus, kakaikakiyaka, wakakiyaka, wakakiyaka, wakakiya. The sacral, navel, uaka kiyaka, wawaiyaka, uakaiyaka, kaka, uawaiyaka, kawa. The root, taka, uakakiyaka, kaukaka, wawaiyaka, uakakiyaka, wawaiyaka, uawaiyaka, kawa. So this energy is to also align yourself with the divine feminine and the divine masculine, in alignment within, in balance within, with the light language of the blue avians, with the avalons that represents the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And allow the divine feminine aspect within yourself to lead the way with ease and flow, the effortlessness, love, compassion, and kindness. You want to harbor that energy within yourself. It's time to stay and remain gentle and stop being the fighter. Stop that aggression, right? That is from the fear where you didn't feel safe. Remember who you are. Okay, so I'm going to use this crystal and stone to some light codes transmission to further open up your heart space, to expand your heart consciousness. Huakai yakakao wakakao wakakao, with the support of the energy of Buddha and Jesus or Yeshua right now at this time. Ukakao wakakiyakao wawawaiyakakao wawa. Ikukua kukua iyakakao wakakao waiyakakao wawawawawakao kakua iyaya. Balancing that out. Wakaiyakakao wakakiyakakao wawaiyakakao wakakao kukua. Ikukua kua kukua iyakakao wakakao wakakikiyao wawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawawaw hear ukukua uakaka iakaka ukukua iakaka ukukua ikikia kukua uawakikiaka uakaka ikukua kaka ukukua ikikiaka uakaka iakaka uakaka uawa ukukua kukua iakaka uakaka ukukua waia Okay, and I'm also guided to flip through this my book. This is coming up as the Higher Consciousness Guide for I didn't know what the purpose was when I was putting together this and writing. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to allow my spirit team and the divine and source and Gaia to come through. If there's any message for me to share, to anchor down the higher consciousness for the collective, for those who's watching and resonating at this time. What is the message, Spirit? What is the message? Okay, so today, you are the capability came with this, the poetry that I wrote. The hardest was is the title. And this is the light code transmission that you can use. And as you tune into it, you can receive some activations. Okay, so let me read. I forgot what it was about, so I'm going to find out as well as I'm reading. The title is The Hardest Was. The hardest was to believe that I am worthy, I am abundant, I am lovable, I am loved, I am beautiful, I am gifted, I am capable, I am enough, I am safe, as I am, where I am, in all situations, in all circumstances, and all through fleeting emotions. The hardest was to recognize my own self-sabotaging narratives, self-harming behavioral patterns, self-defeating ego-based operations, to shift out of my own self-limiting beliefs, self-diminishing social conformity, self-victimizing choice-making, to know and accept that I am the creator of all my experiences, of all realities, that I am the master of all my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, that I am responsible for all my creations with the choices I made, that I am sovereign and unconditional. Okay, so this once again is an alignment with the message that I shared today. So it's about recognizing your self-worth at the end of the day by navigating through the feelings of unsafe, unlovable, and, limiting that made you become the fighter and constantly fighting with as a shadow boxer with the imaginary opponent. We are now releasing this energy by recognizing who you are. And, at the time I was reflecting this in my own journey where I felt all of this, where I lived all through this, that it was very difficult. And the hardest part was to recognize who I really am. Okay, so that is coming on. So I'm going to read the explanation or the excerpt that I wrote here. You are here to accept yourself as you are and for who you are in every moment. Because you are enough always, you are here to recognize your unique gifts and talents that you already embody, to create and serve with the highest intentions for the highest good of all. You are here to heal your own self by integrating all the separated and broken aspects that you perceive and identify yourself as within, to fully embody unconditional love, that is who you truly are, to recognize that you were never broken or separated in the first place, because unconditionality is your essence. As a result, you can begin to feel safe within your body and within all that you are in every moment. You are here to recognize and shift, allow and expand, which will help you embody flexibility, empathy, and compassion within you so that you can experience all that you are freely. In that moment, you recognize your infinite self that is a potentiality of limitlessness. You are here to let go of your idea of self that you gave birth to while identifying yourself as a victim of circumstances. As a victim, the story of one's world, that is the perspective one is aligned with in a world full of judgments, punishments, threats, and dangers. It is a world that needs to be feared, therefore constantly feeling the pressure within to fight over and against, to conquer, to win before someone else does. It is an insecure, controlling world. It is devoid of feelings of safety, of acceptance, joy, freedom, trust, and harmony, a world that is supportive and trustworthy. So the fear is a byproduct of one's thought deriving from such perspectives and beliefs one holds and agrees to in one's subconscious mind. As one believes that is how it is in the mind, it manifests as how it is in physicality that we refer to as reality. Therefore, when you perceive shifts Well, therefore, when your perspective shifts or expands, your entire reality shifts and expands in a whole new direction at an instant. When you stop choosing to believe in limitation, scarcity, and start choosing to believe in limitlessness, abundance, your entire reality shifts according to your choice. Remember, you are capable of creating your own. Okay? So this is explaining the whole thing that that I just shared with you, this entire video in a way. Okay, so the affirmations that you can use, okay, here. So the affirmation goes, I am what I embody within. I am what I hold on to inside. I am what I let go inside. I am capable of freeing myself. I am capable of rewriting, restarting, and returning my own wheel of fortune. I am responsible for all that I choose and all that is created out of those choices. I am accountable. I am free. I am capable. Okay, so in Pisces season, instead of escaping, we need to hold accountability, meaning instead of running away because it makes me feel threatening, unsafe, and scared, meaning seeking addiction in forms of food or any obsessions over something or excessive amount of going into something. It could be shopping, it could be, I don't know, achieving something, it could be eating, it could be exercising, anything of the excessive that we are bringing down in the full moon in Libra to balance, to regain balance and harmonize these energies as we process and release these energies through. So that's why the responsibility, meaning you becoming the creator, embracing that, becomes very important. And how you can use these affirmations that I repeated, or any of the things that I said in the poetry, I am worthy, I am lovable. As you are saying it, if you don't feel comfortable and find yourself completely feeling these words, is something that you can work with in the moment. When you say I am worthy and you don't feel worthy, you still need to work on your self-worth, something that you need to release in your subconscious belief system. Or you say I am lovable and you may not be feeling that. You may not be feeling lovable in the moment. And if that emotion's rising, or that beliefs or the thoughts are coming up, and these are the indications, so it could be working as your guiding light whenever you're using with affirmations of I am, that whenever you're not feeling aligned with the words that you're saying, is something that you can work with. So you can see that as a gift you are discovering in that moment, that is something you can walk towards and you can process in body. And with that, you can stay in appreciation and say, thank you, universe, for this opportunity for me to recognize what I need to work on at this time. This can also help you lead you to your North Star. So you don't want to have this idea of this, what is North Star? What is the life purpose? And these steps that must be big, that could only take me to where I want to be. These are all just illusion, the concepts of ideas that are fear-based and scarcity and limitation. And once we merge and integrate in neutrality, anything, everything can be the gifts, the miracles, the magic in your life. Right? It's just the idea that we hold about what magic is, what miracle is, that is big and bigger than life, bigger than myself, that we learn in religion, right? This above and below, it's all within, okay? So start working with these energies where you feel like it's in dissonance or it's not harmonized yet. It's something that you need to work towards, that you can work with as your tool, that is practical, that you can use on a day-to-day basis. And as you take these steps, you're going to be in a place at a time that you do not expect. Okay, so just keep on aligned in faith and your intentions, that is the purest, Okay? And then while you do that, Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the joy. And thank you for the pain. Right? It's something that you can embrace this attitude in whenever you are stepping and going through this journey at this time. Is the last message for me to share at this time. So I hope this helps you, and I send you lots of love, support from where I am. We're all connected. We're all in this together. You're never alone, okay? You're always loved, protected, and guided. So just as a last reminder, honor your journey, honor who you are at this time. And with that, I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.